I've lived a lot of my life without the pressure to worry about having enough money. It's a real gift. But I had other pressures, which was making sure I lived my life as if I deserved what I had. And I think it's important to ask ourselves, like, who's putting that pressure on us? Where is that coming from? Is that my internal drive, or is that some kind of inherited set of limiting beliefs that really don't pertain to me? So could we take a deep breath, trust that life is going to give us all the opportunities we need, and our job is just to show up every day, being our best selves, open and seeking those things that are most aligned. Okay, so what we decided to do was invite our friends to ask questions of each other. So I texted a dozen of my good friends and invited them to consider this. What would you ask your 20-year-old self if you could? And you did the same thing, right?
Yeah. It was more directed towards what would you ask Sarah, because everyone knows you.
Yeah, people know who I am. Well, I did tell everybody it was you.
I know, but I'm just saying.
And people who've been following the podcast know who you are.
Some of the questions, too, are like personal to you, given.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Which I think is good because people
I
are
love it. I'm
you.
excited. So we asked our friends these questions, and then we didn't tell each other what the questions were. And now our plan is to pick a few. And I don't know what your questions are, and you don't know what mine are. And we're gonna have a chat.
Okay, this is on topic, and I know we did do a whole episode about this, but every single friend asked a question about this, so I just want you to give your like raw, honest response. So what advice would you give a girl that's just about to graduate college and enter the real world?
I would say, first of all, stop dismissing the reality you're currently in. To suggest that being in school and being 20 isn't real is, I think, really dismissive and disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And the world does it all the time. You're about to go into the real world. Well,
Yeah.
then this isn't real? Because your reality is intense right now. So I would say, do everything you can to remind yourself on a daily basis that every day you're living your life, it's real. And that all you're doing now is just preparatory, instructional for the life you're going to continue to live. I mean, you're living today and you're living tomorrow. And in June, when you graduate, you'll still be living. And, you know, you have a life today, you have a life tomorrow. In June, your life will shift and change and evolve. But there's this like bump, bump, bum, kind of reality, like you're going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah.
Graduation happens. And then I think that really is dismissive to the just developmental progression that life is. We should always be evolving. Let's allow us always to evolve and change and grow. And so this is a phase, then there's another phase. This is a season, then there's another season. But is one more real than the other? I don't think so. I mean, you're managing your life, you're managing a budget now. You've got to like figure out how to do real life shit now. There will be more things to manage for a lot of people, but like after graduation, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say challenge that notion that what you're doing now isn't real and what you'll do after graduation is.
Yeah. Geez. I've never thought about it that way.
So I know you had that experience a couple weekends ago where you were getting sort of like, you don't know the real world kind of stuff from somebody. And it affected you. And what you were reacting to was the fact that your experience right now feels very real.
Yeah. And I think you're right. A lot of people in college don't think that at all. It's it's fake. All we have to do is go to classes. It's why we can drink our weekends away and like not worry about anything. And then you get hit with the fact that you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah, but all the things you have to do now to manage a college life and college education, you have to do those same things just around a job. You still will have relationship challenges. You still have to feed yourself. You still have to make time for things. You still have to do your laundry and gas up your car, and there'll still be money to manage, and it'll just be around work instead of school, but school is work.
Right.
For everybody. Just some people more than others. So that's my advice. Push against that a little bit and settle in. There's lots of ways to live in the world. There'll be seasons where you're more receiving and then giving, more learning and then contributing, more developing and then leading. And that's going to happen throughout your life.
Okay. That was, I'm taking it in. Thank you.
Well, whatever. There you go.
On behalf of all my friends, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. On behalf of I don't know. I mean,
The Sarah Committee.
that comes from a woman who had cancer in college and it felt very real. So,
Yeah.
but even if I didn't have cancer in college, I think that's real. All right. So much of life up to this point is about learning, school, adopting others' ideas, bulking yourself up to become someone important. What if you flipped the script and considered what you need to unlearn to become more fully you?
Well, I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm starting to go through looking at grad school applications and all that. And they're asking me questions about what have you overcome or whatever, those kind of questions. Mm-hmm. And I think I've unlearned a lot already. Luckily, I put in the work to unlearn a lot of things. Mm-hmm. We just talked about it. My main one would probably be this all or nothing thing that I need to be really good at everything all of the time.
Yeah.
And when I slip up or I have, for example, this is a really stupid example, but bear with me. I realized for the last month, I was not doing, or I wasn't counting my protein because I was just I was traveling a bunch and whatever. And I haven't been feeling good. I've been feeling puffier, just not great. And I kind of had this moment where I had to be honest with myself and be well, you haven't been, you know why you don't feel good. And then I went into this spiral catastrophic thinking of, oh my God, how could you be doing this? You know better. Why would you do this? Now you need to go on again, this 6-month, whatever, lock in, discipline, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's all out of shame, guilt, it's not good feelings. And it's not, I wish it was internally from a place of, oh, it's because I love myself and I care for myself and I'm going to make this shift. But really it's because I'm mad at myself. And
you're punishing.
Yes, exactly. So for me, that's I need to unlearn that because I think it stops me in a lot of ways with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. School, I procrastinate things because it's sit and study for 6 hours or don't study at all, Yeah.
Probably keeps you from being able to even enjoy the things you choose to do because you're already thinking about how you need to punish yourself for having so much enjoyment, right? Mm-hmm. So you're not even present for the things that you weren't even very present for the thing you were punishing yourself for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you really enjoy the cocktail if you were feeling so guilty the whole time you were drinking it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is that is that all or nothing? Is that presence? I don't know.
Well, you've learned something about the good and bad and what's worthy and what isn't. There's this categorization of things into good and evil.
That's my main thing. I think that's at the root of that,
Yeah.
It is the problem.
Yeah. I used to have a very hard time having fun because I would feel guilty for how much fun I was having. And then I would have to get real serious because I had too much fun. That was very learned behavior.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this next question because your experience, I think, is going to be really, Okay. How do you find your purpose when you want to do so many different things, but you're also worried about money and living a fulfilling life, having big dreams, but not knowing what to do with them?
Well, I think first of all, it's important to consider that or trust that you have a long life ahead of you and there's lots of time. I think we've been conditioned to think that life happens in a 13-second TikTok and there's not a lot of patience in our world for things to unfold as they're meant to. It's hard to trust the universe's plan for us because we're so conditioned to control and drive and create and manipulate and it's all on us. But there is a reality, I believe, that's there, that the world will bring you all the opportunities you're supposed to have over the course of your whole lifetime. And yes, it's our job to make decisions and create things and go after things. But at the same time, there's only so much that will affect because what is meant for you, I believe, finds you. So if we all could take a collective deep breath and imagine that we have 80 years, 70 years to do and be all the things. It might take a little pressure off, right? It gives you a different perspective when you don't feel so pressured to get it all in. And I'm really guilty of this. I have a very hard time believing that I have time. I'm very much like, I always feel like I'm going to run out of time. I've lived a lot of my life without the pressure of having to worry about having enough money. It's a real gift. But I had other pressures, which was making sure I lived my life as if I deserved what I had.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's pressure.
Yeah.
It's just coming from a different reality. And I think it's important to ask ourselves, like, who's putting that pressure on us? Where is that coming from? Is that my internal drive to create and demonstrate whatever? Or is that some kind of inherited set of limiting beliefs that really don't pertain to me, that they're not mine and I've just taken them on? Kind of like the unlearning question that we just took on,
Yeah.
So could we take a deep breath? Could we trust that life is going to give us all the opportunities we need? And our job is just to show up every day, being our best selves, open and seeking those things that are most aligned. Trusting our instincts and our intuition when they come to us.
You graduate, you don't know what you're doing, then you don't know what you're doing. And why don't you know what you're doing? You're supposed to get a job, like it's just.
Yeah, you got to be thinking about the next thing while you're doing the current thing. And you can't even you can't even really inhabit the current thing because you're thinking about the next thing. It's it's the way most people live their lives. Like, I just had a baby, when am I going to have the next one?
Right.
I made partner, when am I going to, what am I going to do next? Like, we're dating, when are we going to get married? We're renting, when are we going to buy?
Right.
We're leasing, when are we going to own? There's just that. I'm eating dinner, but I'm thinking about dessert. It is the state we're in all the time. This future planning.
It's so
living
true.
in the future. It is a symptom of an anxious world.
Yeah.
Am I the next question?
Yeah.
If life's biggest challenges are actually gifts from the universe to help you align with yourself, would you give yourself more grace?
Well, it's interesting because, like, when you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, like, well, I know that challenges are good for me and they inspire growth, and that's a good thing. And that's interesting. And I think a lot of people can relate with this, is like, and a lot of my friends too. In fact, we were talking about this. It's like, we know the thing, we know what we're supposed to think, and we want to believe that we think that. But then when it comes to the actual reality of the situation, like, no, why would I give myself grace? Like, I know that sounds terrible, but it's like, again, kind of that next thing, I need to be better. Like, why, if I'm giving myself grace, I'm not getting better. Or if I'm giving myself grace, I'm not stepping up to who I should be, and I'm shortcutting myself, and I'm being weak, and whatever it is. Like, in those challenging situations, I think, like, you're putting a damper on yourself if you give yourself grace, which is, I know that's wrong. Again, I know that, but I'm like, step up, don't let yourself get away with things like that. So I would like to, is my answer.
Yeah. I think of the words grace and forgiveness as interchangeable. And I think in our world that's tried to kind of neutralize spirituality, particularly, we have stepped away from the idea of forgiveness. And we've kind of drawn, people talk a lot about grace, but if we really just shifted it and really thought about forgiveness, like forgiving yourself for, like, not knowing it all, making the wrong choice when you made it, making mistakes, all those things. If we really, there's so much power in that. It is admitting, like, a powerlessness. It is admitting what you don't know. There's such a profound vulnerability in the act of forgiveness. And I think most people try to avoid being vulnerable. So then we dumb it down to say, like, well, just give yourself some grace, which,
Totally.
Could be space or time or be a little more gentle. But I think there's an interesting opportunity to return to this sort of concept of, like, could you just forgive yourself for all the things you did that you wish you hadn't done, and just let it go, in a really deeply, like, spiritual sense.
Yeah, because grace does kind of feel like this interim to me, where forgiveness kind of, like, you forgive and forget, the kind of like, okay, we're going to move on from this and learn from it.
Yeah, I don't know that you can ever forget. I think that's a really hard
Yeah.
thing, but you can forgive. But forgiving yourself is a really, that exercise of really truly doing that, I think is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing around with this concept quite a bit over the last 2 years when I made the decision to get divorced again. Like, I instead of giving myself grace, could I really truly forgive myself for the things I did, the behavior, the choice, the harm, the hurt, the
Right.
all the things. Not like free pass, not hall pass,
Yeah.
like doesn't matter, but like a deep sense of connection with my own humanity and the reality that if you're human, you will make big mistakes. It is part of that journey. And it does not help us to hold on to them.
Okay. I might have to like call you about that later. I'm gonna be thinking about that. Wow.